Alright, admit it. Did you also skip through videos about the Ichimoku indicators or immediately turning off in your terminal, thinking it is too complicated, right? I behave exactly the same way until I figure out how it works and saw its hidden potential. Now, it is one of my favorite tools for making decisions. Hello everyone, my name is Uche, and not only do I love trading with Ichimoku, but I also know special setting for these indicators that allows you to achieve an absolutely incredible profit percentage. Today, I will prove it to you by turning $10 into $2,000. You want to earn the same? Then watch this video and repeat the life hacks from it into your own trading. I promise you will understand it quickly, but watch until the end to master the Ichimoku Cloud to perfections. Let's go. How about this horror, friends? A typical Ichimoku looks exactly like this for beginners, and it's really push people away. I agree. Now we'll open another token and everything will immediately become clear. My indicator is already set up and I will definitely show you its authentic secret later. But our first task is to understand the logic for analysis. For that, let's break down all the elements of Ichimoku one by one. This part of the indicators is called the cloud because of its appearance, and we use it to determine the trend. If the cloud is under the charts, it acts as support that the price leans on. If the cloud is above, it is a resistance zone. We also have two more lines, the blue Tenkan Kijun and the red Kijun Kijun, which work like fast and slow moving average. When the blue is on the top, it is a signal for growth. If the red is above, the market trends to decline. But it is important to combine Tenkan and Kijun signals with the cloud, which defines the overall trend directions. There is another line, but it is useless for the strategy, so I just remove it. Now we have a fully set tools ready to work. Let's immediately open a long trade. The situation is perfect, so I don't see any reason to jump between charts. The blue Tenkan Kijun cross above the red Kijun Kijun. While we have time, let's check a neighboring charts. Here the situation is just the opposite. The asset is signaling decline, and you will agree, Ichimoku already looks much clearer. Let's now return to our trade, which is developing in the best possible scenario. The asset is growing. By the way, I forgot to mention something important about the cloud. If you look closely, it expands and contracts, looking at earlier price sections, and you can see it was much narrower, and that's linked to volatility. The wider the Ichimoku Cloud, the sharper the price change. By the way, our first trade is in a profit here, so we can increase risk and continue further. Remember, my goal is to make $2,000, so I will always enter position with a full balance starting from $10. For you, I recommend always risking the minimum from your deposit, so you always have room for a mistake. Otherwise, every losing trade will force you to top up your deposit again. And yes, I already started talking about how Ichimoku can measure volatility using the cloud. That means when it's narrow like here, it's better not to open a trade and at all. The cloud should expand and be directed downward or upward like now. This shows market participant interest in the overall directions of movement. Meanwhile, we're almost at the finish of the trade, after which we'll switch assets. Just a couple more seconds. And perfect, let's continue on a new chart. Okay, here we immediately enter long. The situation is similar to the previous one. The asset is above the cloud, which give us directions. At the same time, the blue line has long been above the red, a signal for future growth. And we see right after a mini correction, so success is almost guaranteed. By the way, I didn't mention that the cloud is always shifted to the right. So also look at its end in the projection, not just what under the charts, because the situations can change quickly. And while expiration runs, let's briefly explain what Ichimoku actually is. It is a trend directions indicators that can also give us support and resistance zones and measure market volatility. In other words, it is a complex system, a full-fledged strategy which owns against growth profit. Let's switch asset and continue. Let's trade Ichimoku on the risky sections, which nevertheless give us an opportunity for a deal. Here I'm opening short, and now pay attention to the chart. Yes, we see a very confusing situation, but now we understand it much better. Most importantly, I see a wedge behind the indicators that was broken downward. Plus the other signals from the indicators don't let us down. It is hard to see, but the red line is above the blue, while the price is under the cloud and clearly direct down. The cloud itself, by the way, is coming out of its own sideways range and starting to gradually decline. That's also a signal of market movement in the bearish formations. To be honest, friends, I avoid Ichimoku for many years simply because I was too lazy to figure out all its settings and lines. But this year I decided it was time to open something new. So studying this tool became a matter of honor. And I can say definitely I don't regret it. Another trade closed in profit, friends. We won't pause here for long. The situation is obvious, so we continue trading. The candle, by the way, immediately confirmed my forecast. The market intends to fall. And I'm in the right place at the right time. I hope you already like Ichimoku more now. As you have seen, everything is easy if you study and act. On my Telegram channel, I often show complex trading system, not because we collect fancy algorithms, but because we use what really works. Follow the link in descriptions and join our team. If you are a total beginner, you will definitely enjoy our free signals. Just take part in the trading and repeat my trades. It is profitable in the long run. This position also closed in profit, my friend. I already enjoy trading this token, so we'll definitely continue right here. At least one more trade should close in profit. Let's open it now. And while expiration run, I would like to philosophize a bit about trading if you don't mind. Friends, the problem with most beginners traders is that they try to oversimplify everything. They see Ichimoku, they close the indicators thinking too complicated. At that time, the traders lost access to an excellent algorithm that could bring them good money over time. Instead, the trader chose the simplest path, primitive strategy that have long loss relevant. Don't avoid complexity. On the contrary, work with the most advanced and developed system to become better than the absolute majority of market participants. That's exactly how success is achieved, guys. Meanwhile, I'm in profit now and I want to switch the chart. We'll continue soon. We immediately enter shorts, my friend. I'm sure you already see it yourself. Here the cloud is far above the price and act has resistance. The red line is currently above the blue, so it's logical to expect decline, especially since the chart itself is clearly bearish. Let's wait now. While we have time, a little background. Where did Ichimoku even coming from? And why it is so strange? has already figured out it was created by the Japanese man about 100 years ago. His name was Goichi Hosoda, and he was a journalist with a sharp eye and the idea that haunted him for decades. Due to his job, he observed stock trading, which gave him his own experience in analysis, something he had never pursued previously. By the way, I just closed another trading profit, guys, so we can say another thanks you to Goichi Hosoda and get ready for a new market entry. Let's do it right now. It's always important to know exactly where the price will go, so let's add a lower channel line to the analysis. As you can see, the asset still has plenty of room to move, so we don't drop further decline. Back to our Japanese journalist, he watched traders draw in hundreds of candles in the chaos of line and numbers, too much noises. He thought truth should be visible at a glance. That's how his pseudonym was born. Santi Ichimoku, a clean brown charts seen at the first glance. Development took years. Instead of powerful computers, he had tons of papers, logarithm rulers, and a few math students he called his pigeon. Okay, another successful trade, guys. Let's get it ready for the final of our sessions. Just a couple more positions in the same directions and I will reach my goal. The converted $2,000 are very close. Just need to take them from the market. So our journalist was obsessed with the idea, literally a fanatic. In the evenings after work at the newspapers, they manually calculated rice price and later stocks. Decades back, the search for magical numbers, those that reflect the very pulse of the market. Through trial errors and endless debates, they derived them. These numbers became the frameworks of his creations. But Hosoda wanted more than just a line. He wanted to give the market space and volume. Thus was born Kumo, the cloud you see on the screen. He thought, don't look at the price, look at the price position related to the cloud. Above the cloud, sky and bullish puff. Below the cloud, a bias and the power of bears. All these later decades, but eventually leads to what we know now. Another trading profit, guys. The finish line is closer and I can already lower risk to get needed amount and open a trade for just $60. In trading, you definitely shouldn't be greedy. Okay, let's do it right now. And while expressions runs, it is the perfect time for the climax of our story. In 1968, when the world was crazy about fashions and rock rolls, the gray-haired Japanese man finally published his book. He presented to the world not just an educator, but a philosopher in charts, a system where time, price, and strength exist in fragile balance. It became the bestseller in Japan, but the rest of the world only discovered the Ichimoku in the 1990s with the arrivals of computers. Traders was amazed by the fact that how could one man create something so complex and complete at the age of paper and inks. And now we can calmly use these creations of Japanese genius, who spent practically his whole life building the most complex indicators of all existence ones. Okay, I'm done, my friends. The intense sessions is behind us, so now a short pause and then the promised authentic settings. So let's figure out for Tenkan, set the value to 10. For Kijun 27, that can stay as default. Next, Tenkan color blue and Kijun Sen red. This line I set to minimum since it is not used in our strategy. And now the cloud, I made it light blue and single color, but you can choose any other color if you want. The main thing here is to repeat my parameters. Everything else is a matter of taste. And now it is time for the results. So you got convinced that Ichimoku isn't that scary. Now you know it is just a set of lines, but a logical chain for decision making. Don't let first impressions fool you. You take this shim and test it because I gave you the perfect setting for trading. If it was useful, likes and comment really help the channel. You got questions? Ask below. I will definitely reply. And also draw a comment if you have your own experience trading with these indicators. See you very soon. Bye for now.